Alrighty then. It is time to recap the big ideas from personality and personality type. So, thanks for sticking with me through the detailed toolkit and the orientation to the Myers-Briggs. I'm hoping that that gives you a great understanding ultimately of your type, but also what the Myers-Briggs could do for you in the future. We know that the Myers-Briggs and understanding personality type helps you build your own self-awareness and gives you a model for understanding other people. And it gives you some protocols about how to better interact with others. So let's recap now the big ideas about personality types. We'll talk about the functions and the attitudes before you move on and take the next step on your learning journey about let's get personal working with personality type. So here are the big ideas. Personality is a description of how you habitually behave, think, or feel expressed in terms of innate preferences. That's fancy words for saying that you have a genetically inherited trait that is expressed based on how you have been nurtured, your environment. Genetic in large part, influenced a little bit by other factors. It is a trait and therefore it's not readily changeable. And this is an important distinction. So you're not likely to change your personality, but you may adjust your behavior. Behavior is always changeable. But preference and destiny are not the same thing. And so remember that the Myers-Briggs suggests that we normally and regularly flex out of our preferences. And we get better at this as we mature. At least that's the hope. So for example, I'm an introvert, but I've gotten pretty comfortable extroverting. And I'm an intuitive, but I'm pretty good at the data now, having had lots of practice. Type is a description of your preferences, and it doesn't mean that you're a strong or a good extrovert, merely that you are an extrovert. So it describes your preference for behavior. And each of the preferences is associated with characteristic contributions and, frankly, potential pitfalls. The preference pairs can be used along with the temperaments and type to describe naturally occurring differences among us. And so one of the things to think about with Myers-Briggs is it gives you, with the understanding of type, a way to understand how these naturally occurring differences may explain why some people just really get on our last nerve, and we on them. And last but not least, let me remind you that there are 16 types in Myers-Briggs, but because each preference pair has facets underneath it, there are limitless individual types as a result, both of it being on a continuum and their underlying facets being on a continuum as well.
Hi, I hope you're enjoying this free lesson from the University of Maryland's Project Management Center for Excellence. If you want to check out more lessons just like this one, click the link in the description below where you'll be able to go to our website on executive project management. There, you can find edX courses, professional short courses where you can learn from an instructor like me, as well as request custom team training for you and your organization. All right, let's get back to the lesson and I'll see you at the end.
Now, the language used in Myers-Briggs differs in some important ways from regular English usage. And let me just remind you about those really quickly. So introvert does not mean that someone's shy, reserved, or stuck up. It just means that they focus their energy and get their energy from their internal world of ideas and experiences. Feeling decision makers are not overly emotional decision makers, but they do take the emotions of others and harmony of the group into consideration when they make decisions. They are logical, they're using different rules. Judging, the orientation to the outside world that's very planful, does not mean judgmental. It means they make plans and they execute them in the context of Myers-Briggs. And last but not least, perceiving, also an orientation to the outside world, does not mean that one is perceptive. Rather, it means that one is very flexible, likely to be spontaneous. Flexing out of your preference is a use of energy, both to form the intention to do it, realizing that your preference may not result in the behavior that's going to have the best outcome. So you have to form the intention, and then it takes energy to flex out of your preference. And for all of us, this occurs all day long. meaning we want to understand our preference when we're flexing out of our preferences and actively manage our energy, which we'll talk about in Personality Applied later in the course. Knowledge of type is a core element of building your self awareness and skill in understanding others better. It can help you become a better communicator, use conflict effectively, have better conflict, and ultimately to create better teams. Myers-Briggs is divided into functions, of which there are two: how you get data, sensing and intuition, and how you make decisions, thinking and feeling, and also two attitudes: extrovert and introvert, which is where you focus and get your energy, and judging and perceiving, which is your orientation to the outside world. All have characteristic contributions and potential pitfalls. I hope you'll find this a good background so that as you move into assessing your own personality type and learning more about gifts, needs, potential pitfalls, etc., and how to apply this real time, real world, that this will give you the foundation to do that well. See you in the next module.
Hey there, did you enjoy that lesson as much as I did? If you did, go ahead and give us a like. If you want to see another one, go ahead and subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments, put them below and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Moreover, is there somebody in your life who really needs this lesson right now? If so, go ahead and share it with them. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. Now, we look forward to seeing you in the next lesson where you can learn even more from the University of Maryland Project Management Center for Excellence. Thanks so much.